thought this was so beautiful, just watching the flowers dancing and the shadows on the wall. I'd gone out to feed the birds and I just thought it was so pretty. And then I remembered that I'd seen somewhere you can do shadow drawings, and I was like, I'm going to have a go at this, it's going to be so much fun. It was actually a lot harder than it looks because anytime there was a bit of breeze, the plants kept moving, and then you'd have to like match up the lines and stuff. So how they do it on other videos, I don't know, but it was actually a lot harder. But it was really nice to have a go. And if you do still get sunshine, I highly recommend you have a go, especially on a day that's not windy. I tried it with all different plants around the garden. Some were easier than others. This was quite tricky. The willow was just ridiculous. And it was really hard. And when I'd finished it at the end, I didn't actually really like it. I think it's better if there's less leaves on it, like the one before. I think that was much better on the fennel. The garden's gone crazy. It's just gone, oh, it's overgrown, it's mad. There's just stuff everywhere. And I can't really cut it back yet because things are still flowering. Look at the willow. It's so amazing. It actually looks like it's near the power lines there, but it isn't. I wouldn't let it grow that tall. But it's grown so much. We've had so much rain here, like loads of rain and the few odd days of sunshine. But as I was saying, I want to cut it all back and get it all nice, but things are still flowering like the buddleii and there's still bees visiting, so I don't really want to get rid of the flowers when the bees are having all the food. Look at them. I love bees so much. Look at this, I've just harvested some mint out the garden and I'm just going through taking off the leaves that are not so good. And look what I found. A caterpillar larvae. Look, a butterfly is going to appear. Or a moth. I think it might be a cabbage white though, this one. And it might have gone too late because it's getting a bit chilly now. But how exciting is that? Today we are taking my painting to its new owner. Oh, I'm a little bit sad to see her go, but I'm really glad that she's going to a lovely home. So you can see how big she is. And she's one of the best paintings that I think I've ever done in terms of a deep dive into all different symbology. And yeah, I really loved painting her. So there's all sorts on her. The placenta and the labyrinth and me and gold leaf. There's all sorts of things in there. So we're going to take her now to deliver her to a new owner. Hi.
You okay, Ruby?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Angela. Welcome to my little space. Have a little look around. So I'm a birth and postnatal doula, but this lovely space I run all my antenatal classes, hypnobirthing, baby massage, baby yoga, holistic healing, and then also menstruation and menopause workshops too.
So I'm here with Angela, who you've just heard, and this is a fantastic space, and as you can see we brought the painting for her and she's going to look lovely up on the wall. So if you are in Thornton, which is near Blackpool, and you are pregnant or going through the menopause, come and visit Angela. I've been working with Labyrinth for the past month or so, and it's been a really interesting process, and I decided that I was going to make a painting with sand and PVA and beetroot, but before I was using the sand I thought I would draw in the sand. So I've done this before at uni. You need some beetroot powder. You also need some PVA glue, some sand obviously, and some water as well to dilute the glue. And this sand is really dry and that's really good for it, even though we're going to put it in the water. But if you use wet sand, it doesn't work as well, it clumps together. So I've put a bit of water in here and then I'm going to squirt some PVA in. And the idea is you just keep adding and mixing and adding and mixing until you get a consistency that you're happy with. It can't be too runny because it'll just run off the canvas. And again, it can't be too thick because it'll just take ages to dry. This was an experiment that I was doing to see how long it would take to dry, because at the moment I've got a 6-week course called Unleash Your Wild Creative Woman, and I thought I could do this with my participants, but actually the canvas took 3 days to dry, and that wouldn't be any good because I'm hiring a space to do the workshops in and I can't leave anything there. So as you can see, sorry about the camera wobbling, it's every time I was knocking the table, it was knocking the arm. I just keep adding more sand and more PVA until it gets to a really good consistency. And the more you do this, the more you'll understand what that consistency is like. It's like thick cake batter, that's what it's like, but it's not good to eat, obviously. This actually made me a little bit peckish. Adding the beetroot, I was like, oh, it's looking like a red velvet cake. But yeah, it'd be disgusting to eat. And the really frustrating thing about this is, which you'll see at the end, it's a gorgeous pink colour. When I put it on the canvas, it's a gorgeous pink colour, and then when it dries, it's like it's disappeared. So at the moment, I've got clumps of beetroot in this, and I'm using the back of the spoon to break them clumps of beetroot up and mix them in nicely. So you can see the consistency of the mixture here, and I'm using the back of the spoon to rub it all into the canvas. This is a pre-treated canvas. If you do this on plain canvas, you need to do a layer of gesso first, otherwise it'll just sink through the canvas. So I'm just going to use the back of the spoon and spread it out. And as I'm doing this, you can see there's quite a few clumps of beetroot in there that I'd missed before on mixing. So a top tip would be to actually sieve the beetroot, I think, first. And to be honest, the way that it's dried, I don't know if there's actually any point in using beetroot. There are a few clumps of it that have stayed, but the rest of it's kind of disappeared. Now I'm using a brush to spread out this mixture. Now because this is glue, if you want to keep your brush, you need to wash it as soon as you've done this. Otherwise the glue will just glue up all the bristles. And I would say get yourself like a paintbrush from a DIY shop to do with this. Don't use your expensive art brushes. Because you've got to be quite tough at making the sand spread across the canvas, and if you use one of your art brushes you could really damage the bristles. So I just get some DIY paintbrushes and use them for any kind of tough jobs like this. Now I'm doing this with the paintbrush, not because I'm just playing with the mixture, but that is fun as well. I'm doing this to try and spread that sand out and to try and make it spread as far possible on the canvas and have some kind of part in the middle that's a little bit thicker than the edges. So this is the part where you've got to be patient. You've got to keep coming back. If you want to make an indentation in your mixture, I'm making a labyrinth, and you want it to dry like that, you've got to keep coming back and doing this over and over again to see how it's drying. And I did this probably over the space of about 4 hours. I kept coming back to it, but it just kept absorbing itself, so the mixture wasn't set enough. After about 4 hours, it could hold in place, but it did take a long time. So that's another thing to think of. If you're doing this, you need to be able to have your canvas flat somewhere for at least a day and a half. Otherwise, it'll run off your canvas, and it just keeps connecting back together until it's set enough to keep it in place. So I probably did this about 8 times, and this is, I think, the second to the final time, and it is starting to hold a little bit better now. You'll just have to be patient depending on what you're doing. The one that I did at university was a seaside, and it had all shell shapes in it and spirals and things like that in it, and I think I must have made the mixture slightly different because I don't think that took as long to hold shape. So again, it is just trial and error, but that's what I love about art and having an art practice. It's playing, it's fun, it's experimenting. If it was all the same, it'd be really boring and it'd be like, what's the point in doing it? So this is the part that I actually love. I love processes. I've added some carnelian chips to the canvas while the glue was still quite damp. Carnelian is full of feminine energies, and it's linked to the fertile menstrual blood of the goddess Isis. Equally, it's also considered an active male energy. So together, combined, they make passion, love and romance. And I just thought it was a beautiful stone to put in this painting. I just felt drawn to using these carnelian chips and put them in there to make this lovely layer of the labyrinth. This is a week later and it's now fully dry, and as you can see, the beetroot beautiful pink colour is pretty much gone. All that's left are these little areas of the pinky colour. I can't decide whether I'm going to paint over the whole thing, apart from the carnelian chips, but paint all the surrounding, or leave it. I've got exciting news. I am packing a very special order for a brand new shop that's opening called Portal Leith in Leith, Scotland, and it's going to open on the 7th of September. Oh my god, I've been following it on Instagram. The transformation is incredible. Go and check them out. I packed up a whole box full of goodies for the beautiful Sam at Portal Leith and sent them on the way. Now, if you have a shop or somewhere that you can sell things from, a boutique or whatever it is, and you would like me to send you a box of goodies, I can do either sale and return or wholesale prices. So just pop me an email and we can sort that out, because I'd really like to expand. I'm already in Portal Leith, following the Joy in Chorley, Zine Freak in Lancaster, Sage and Time in Lancaster, and I would like to get into other shops too, if that's possible. I'm going to call it in from the universe. These are some gorgeous cards that I made especially for Portal Leith, all to do with the Labyrinth and botanicals and just magical, original watercolours they are. So they're really, really beautiful. Portal Leith is now open. It opened on the 7th of September. I'm going to go on a road trip and go up there soon. It has been so humid. I was so hot, and then the rain came and I couldn't resist. I was cleaning in the kitchen and I was just like, I'm going out in the rain. It was so cold. It was beautiful and so refreshing. I just love this moment of joy.